What's up, guys? Chandler and Grant here with Rise Magic. We've seen your reviews. We've seen everyone look over Rise playing cards for themselves, but we realized we haven't given you guys an in-depth look at the cards yourself yet. So we figured now would be a great time to open up a brand new deck of Rise playing cards and go through all the little secrets,
hidden features, Easter eggs, everything that is in this deck of playing cards that you guys might care about or not care about, depending on who you are. But yeah, you want to open this up?
Sure thing.
Awesome. Now, we're gonna open up a brand new one so you guys can go through it from scratch, see everything in there. But this is the perfect time to address something that I've been meaning to address for the longest time. Now, what is it, 1-2 years ago? We made that video.
Almost 3 years ago. Yeah.
Almost 3 years ago, that's crazy. We made that video with the infamous deck sniff. Now, we've seen all of you guys doing it. It's cool to see how much it's
You need a card real quick.
Yeah. How much it's picked up.
Pick myself. Anyway, continue. It's an important message.
How much you guys have picked it up. But I really want to say that maybe that isn't the best idea anymore. We don't really want to give you guys the idea that we're like into drugs or anything like that, and coming up with this like sniffing motion.
It's not about drugs. It's really just like people might relate it to that. It's not related to that at all. It's just the deck smells good.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop doing it.
The deck smells great. So all you guys out there, we appreciate the support, but maybe going out there and sniffing a brand new deck of cards in front of your parents or anything like that isn't really the best idea. So if you guys could stop doing that, we would definitely appreciate it. Is that right, Sharon?
Yeah. It's
All
very
right, awesome.
not good. But
Now, let's get
in.
right into that design. Now, this might seem obvious, but the very first thing on here that you'll see is the Rise arrow on the seal of the deck and on the front. Now, this arrow is something that has been along with us since the very, very beginning of when Rise existed. This is something that I made back in the very first graphic design course I ever took as an elective. I remember sitting there with Chandler over a call with him, Sharon doodling out different ideas in his composition notebook in high school. Me coming up with different ideas inside of composition notebook myself, going back and forth on what we wanted the arrow to look like. And the fact that this arrow has existed for now like 5 years or something like
Long time.
is a crazy amount of time. Fun fact, that's how long logos usually are supposed to last for in the industry.
For a little refresh. A little F5.
Just me and Chandler, two bros chilling in an arrow, a few pixels apart.
They're not finishing that one.
I really like it. It's the first logo
Two
I ever...
forces directed into one. We're gonna talk about the box real quick. So we got the arrow on there. Something interesting. You may have not noticed it. The back design on most cars usually reflects the back half of the box. But in this case, you're actually gonna see that the back of the box has a different design than the back design. They look pretty similar, but if you look up close, you will see that this one on the box is actually an earlier version of the back design. And I thought it'd be interesting to keep it that way because it's just a little bit different, something a little bit interesting that they are not exactly the same like on most decks. So there you go, little tidbit of information there. Obviously first edition, Rise Again, Rise playing cards. On the bottom of the box, you're gonna see there's a QR code. When you scan the QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube channel, which is pretty sick. I love that we were able to put that in there. And then I said this in their video, so it's not really an Easter egg, but how it says 1 of 5,000. Like I said, with any deck that has a run of certain 1,000 min of cards, it's never gonna be exactly right. If one deck says 1 of 2,500, it's probably more like 2,700 or 2,400. It's never gonna be exact. In our case, it's 1 out of 5,586 because that's how many extra they printed for us.
Yep.
So
we ordered 5,000.
Yeah, we paid for 5,000, but there was more. Which is pretty cool. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's all there is in the box. As you guys saw, the wrapping paper has the cellophane has a gold seal. There's an option to do a red one. I just thought the gold one would look better on the navy blue. And then also with the seal, you know, there's an option to not have a seal, but I know for the whole, you know, pop and open the deck with the new deck smell, we're not doing that anymore, obviously.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that.
But you need to seal it so that you can get like the best sealed in new deck smell.
The biggest themes and ideas that we had when coming up with this deck of cards is the idea of not only Rise, but also the fall. And the idea of like, anytime you fall, the only way to get out of that is to get back up again, to rise up again.
And if you fall again, you rise again, and you fall, you rise again. Exactly. Keep going.
And that theme is going to be in plenty of places throughout the deck of cards. But the first place that we really did want that is in the back design. And we have that with kind of like the night and day, where we have the sun, the moon, the stars. So that duality of the daytime almost being the rise, the nighttime being the fall. And the cool thing about that is, I'm sure you guys have seen on Chandler's Instagram stories that he's a bit of a night person. I'm very much a night person as well. And so it's cool knowing that like our most productive time and when we get a lot of work done is at night, when we kind of have that like idea of the fall. And that work that you put in when you're down at your lowest is what's going to make the rise that much better.
That was actually very well said.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things about it. We also have like the arrow coming up through the clouds, just kind of that like daybreak, breaking that.
This is exactly what we stand for.
Exactly.
Now, the card that Grant happens to be holding right here is one of the ad cards. That is just the Rise logo doubled back on the back design. Now, lots of you guys have been asking about this and asking, is this the V2 deck? No, it's not. In fact, this was kind of put in here as a little bit of a joke callback to, for us and for fans of the channel for a very long time, because you guys know it took us over 3 years to finally get a deck out. And so many of you guys, I want to say so many of you guys message us saying, hey, why don't you just take the logo and reverse it like the Fontaine, just to drop it back and forth on there, and you'll sell thousands of them. I don't like this. I think this looks lazy. I'm not saying we're never going to make a deck with our logo more prominent, one that's more minimal, but this was included because it was like, yeah, that deck some of you guys wanted, here it is. This is what it looks like. And we're never going to do it.
It's like, what would you prefer, this or this?
Yeah.
It's kind
so
of,
that's what the time took.
Kind
right?
of the very first V1 idea that ever could have existed of the Rise deck.
Right. Versus
the final that's out now.
What we actually have.
So, I think it's a fun card.
Yeah, it's the logo card, but it's also like, yeah, that's we're not gonna do something that lazy. You guys know us better.
Yeah. Now, the very next place, going off of that Rise and Fall motif that we have throughout the deck, is the Jokers.
I've seen vocab word motif. I learned that in 10th grade English.
You'll learn it again now.
Theme. It's your word for the day, motif.
Have it very clearly here again. The night and day theme motif along with the Rise and Fall. Here on the Jokers, I've seen a lot of you guys tag us in this on your Instagram stories when you're showing off the deck to your friends, which we really appreciate. But right here where it says, I will rise again, for though I fall. For though I fall, it's the same exact scenery, same exact area, but just one's in the daytime, one's in the night, showing off that though I fall with the night, I will rise again with the daytime, with the sun coming up over the mountains, showing off that sunrise.
Yeah. Now this is actually, as many of you guys know, based off the Bible verse Micah 7:8, which says, do not gloat over me, my enemy, for though I fall, I will rise again. I know not all of you guys out there are Christians or believe in the Bible, but this is just a way for us to put something that's inspirational, motivational on the deck that means something to us and our Christian faith. But I feel like even if you're not a religious person, you can look at these two cards and be inspired by it, because no matter what in life, you're gonna fall, you gotta get back up. And that's what I wanted to symbolize with the two ad card Jokers on here.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have our cards. Now it's very important that we both are on this deck. We knew that from the beginning, that we both had to be on the deck. Now, there are a lot of important people in our life that we could have also put on the deck, and they'll get their cards eventually. In the next few decks, we'll put them on there. But for the first one, that was extremely important. That's just Grant and myself. Now, I did the King of Spades because that was the coolest card, and also, you know, a lot of people like the King of Spades. But the real reason behind it was because when I did pretty much my first big magic trick, I have a whole video on it. I was at a basketball camp, did the card behind the window. I asked Grant to get me a duplicate card so I could do the trick. He grabbed me the King of Spades, so that was the trick that I put behind the window and did my big magic trick for the first time, and it was the King of Spades, so I was like, that's my card. That's why the King of Spades is me. I will say, the artwork, I think for Grant, is a little bit better than mine. Mine definitely looks like me, but Grant's looks just freaking like you, dude.
Yeah.
Why'd you do the King of Hearts?
Well, fun fact to anyone who doesn't know, my actual favorite card in the deck is the Jack of Spades. But, you know me, I'm not going to put myself as a Jack when Sharon's the King.
There have been like people in the YouTube comments, like conspiracy theory, like
exactly.
They'd be like,
exactly. You have people going like, what is Grant the beta or something like that? And we all know that's true, but we're not going to put that in the deck of cards.
I was not expecting you to say that.
But no, I think the King of Hearts, it honestly represents me and Sharon well. People who know us in person know that Sharon is usually the one to like spearhead things. He's very much like, I don't want to say an aggressor because that has a negative connotation to it, but Chandler's someone who wants to push things forward, makes things the best they are. Chandler's like almost more of like an agitator, while I'm much more of an empathetic person.
I'll tell you.
I care about people. Chandler doesn't.
Very caring. I really don't care about people. No.
I just think it fits me well. Big heart for people. I want to help people.
Moving on, because I'm going to have to edit out all this joking that Grant and I are doing that we're
Shout
not.
out to the Short Kings.
Definitely not including this video. You just throw yourself on the ground like that?
Yeah.
One of the things that I did see in a few reviews for this deck is that some guys were like, oh man, I wish there was reveals. I wish there was markings. I wish there was duplicate cards. Here's the thing. Me too. Grant too. Obviously you want to get cool features in a deck. But for the first edition, the goal was to create a classic looking deck that to the layman eye could look just like a bicycle deck, like a really fancy bicycle deck or a Talley Ho deck. Just a really classic, intricate design that's just special and you can play games with it. One of our favorite things to do of all time when we're with a group of friends is to play card games, right? Spoons, Kemps, poker, Go Fish, Speed, Spit, Slapjack, War.
Yep.
We love playing card games. And when you're playing card games with friends, people are already like, oh, they're the magicians, they're going to cheat. So we didn't want to make a marked deck for our first deck. We want you guys to be able to take this deck and play card games with it and not be tempted to cheat with the markings on it or stuff like that. It would completely invalidate it for games like poker or really any game where you see the back of the cards.
Yeah. Now, fun fact, which a lot of you guys may not know, me and Sharon have a lot of friends in real life who aren't magicians.
Yeah.
I have friends who are out in college, out in the world playing card games every night with this deck of cards and send me Snapchats and text me saying like, yeah, me and my roommates, we were all playing. I have people from my work, like they were playing high stakes poker with a lot of money with the cards and I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I'm super happy they're not marked. So we did want to put some magic stuff in this deck, even if it's reveals and stuff like that. And all I'll have to say is our next decks, you won't be disappointed when it comes to that stuff. But for the first edition, integrity was the most important thing. That this deck could be used for the World Series of Poker. Yeah.
Not that it needs to be, but we want it to have integrity. That's your other word of the day. Motif and integrity. Note it. Take it in. Digest it. Learning from home. Cyber School. Lastly, we have the custom pips and the Ace of Spades. Obviously, we knew we had to do something sick with the Ace of Spades. I think for the longest time we were thinking about just slapping just the rise arrow there with no context as the Ace of Spades. But once we came with the back design, we were like, no. For the Ace of Spades, we got to incorporate the logo into like that intricate design. We came up with that. That was actually the first custom pip, branch off everything off of that design. And then a couple people also were like, your text is too small that says your name on it. Mm-hmm. On the Ace of Spades, it says Rise Playing Cards, and then it gets really, really small after first edition. Yeah. It's intentional. All right, because we really don't want to be the focus of this deck. Obviously, our faces on it and stuff like that. These are Rise playing cards. We want to represent you guys, the community. If you have not seen the Rise reel yet, you'll see that's kind of like the whole thing. What this is about is getting these cards out to you guys so you can do your stuff with them. So we just want it to be a clean Ace of Spades at glance, not like bam, bam. Yeah. If you want the signatures, though, you got them. So that's pretty much all we got with Rise playing cards, guys. Here's the thing. I'm glad we were able to do this video talking in depth about Rise playing cards because they are still available on our website, rise-magic.com/store.
As we were talking about earlier, that first 5,000 that we actively ordered from the United States Playing Card Company did sell out.
Out of here.
And we are very thankful for you guys for doing that and for just supporting us in that way. But we do have that extra 500 some.
Yeah, well, after we release it, the Rise reel, it's like a lot less than 500. I don't like saying the exact number because then someone could go and like buy these and then just try and resell them for more money. So there's a couple hundred to few hundred left if you still want Rise playing cards.
Yeah. And if you don't want them, I'm more than happy to keep them and tear them up. Use them for Angle Zeros. Use them for Tournament Restoreds and just absolutely destroy this class.
No. All right, guys, stay tuned. I'm going to let you know right now if you're at the end of this video, we have a bonus video coming out this Saturday, so stay tuned. It's really special.
Excited about this one.
Yeah.
Moving forward, getting some cool stuff out for you guys, some exclusives.
So we'll see you on Saturday. Peace out.